Hi YouTube, Big Apple here with another video. Even though this channel hasn't really talked about anything political, I really feel this is an important time to make sure the public is educated about what's going on right now. And my own personal opinion, I don't believe that this is a left versus right, Republican versus conservative, libertarian, Green Party, whatever your affiliations may be. It's not a race thing. It's not a gender thing. It's a basic human instinctual right to self-preservation. That is the central theme of this video, even though it may not seem that way from the beginning. So, is it easier to be a criminal? I compare being a criminal versus being a law-abiding citizen. So, first I have what is a criminal. This is straight from Merriam-Webster's website, m-w.com. And it says relating to, involving, or being a crime, so that's like criminal neglect. Relating to a crime, the persecution of suspects of a crime. And then number 3, guilty of crime, or even just committing a crime. So that is the definition of a criminal. Right there, if it would focus. Okay. That's the definition of being a criminal. It's guilty of a crime. If you committed a crime, you are now a criminal. So think about it. Would it be easier to be a criminal? Well, here are all the upsides I can see to criminal behavior. You operate outside the scope of the law. That's number 1. You don't have anybody over your back. You don't have a cop following you around all day. You do as you want to do because you're a human being and you have free will. But you choose to abuse the laws that America and politicians, or whatever country you're in, you choose to abuse the laws of that land and engage in criminal behavior. You operate outside the scope of the law. You don't care about gun laws. You don't care about registration. You don't care about serial numbers. You do what you want to do to inflict harm on other people. You laugh at lawmakers depriving law-abiding citizens of their rights. If any of this proposed gun legislation were to pass, do you think criminals would line up at a gun buyback and turn them in? Do you think the guy who only knows the streets, lives on the streets, terrorizes other people, hangs out with gangs, does drug deals, do you think that guy is going to give up his way of life and his means of inflicting violence on other people, whether it be a knife or a gun or any sort of tool? That's all the gun is a tool. You make money on the black market while also getting government handouts. So I guess the second part of that is a little bit political in one direction, but that is the way. Most of them come from poverty-stricken areas, and they see that as a way of life for them to make money because they make money on the black market selling drugs, doing things they shouldn't be doing. You can do drugs anytime you want, and you know where to find them. So as I said, you operate outside the scope of the law. That goes in with the first point that I made. You prey on innocent people who rarely choose to fight back. If you consider yourself a good person, when I ask people this question, as a firearms instructor, I've asked many people this question when they say they want to get a gun. I said, do you feel that you're emotionally strong enough and strong-willed enough to take a life? And they said, well, I don't know if I am. And I explain to them, I say, what if this person is attacking your family, attacking someone you really love? Do you feel like you could take a life? A lot of them, surprisingly, have told me no, because they see themselves as good people, and that's a very hard thing to do. That's a hard thing to ask. That would be a tough thing to live with. But that's something that you have to answer on. You have to answer because there are people that are used to this kind of behavior, that prey on innocent people every day and have no problem doing it, threatening lives all the time. And like I say in the next one, can take a life without thinking twice. It's regular for them. Gang fights, beatings, drive-by shootings, drug overdoses. They're surrounded by death at a young age and desensitized to the violence and the death. So the fact that guns are the focus of this violence, well, this doesn't have much to do with guns. That's just a tool to inflict violence, just like a bomb would be, or just like spreading a biological virus, like the anthrax scare. It's just a tool to inflict this violence. You have no possessions to worry about losing. Well, that goes into the next one too. The streets are all you know. So living on the streets and in gangs and everything, you really don't have much to worry about. You don't have a tight moral family bond. You don't have strong ties to a whole lot of people. You just have allegiance to your gang and allegiance to those that also break crimes. And that's about it. But it's a dog-eat-dog world because anybody can immediately turn on you. And then I also say the media takes pity to your plight. Anytime I see a self-defense story where the perp is not killed, they always have the emotional side of it to try to tug at your heartstrings. Like in Ocala, Florida, over the summer when a 70-something or 80-something-year-old man opened fire on two men that went into an internet casino, little cafe place, with a bat and a .38 revolver. He didn't realize that the .38 revolver did not function, and he didn't realize it didn't even have any ammo in it. But he saw it as a direct threat to him and those people there, so he opened fire on them. And when interviewing the criminals, the media just personifies them as being the greatest people ever. Just like anytime they want to tug at your heartstrings, they show a young picture of the guy smiling in nice clothes, and they're just trying to draw you in with your emotions. They interviewed these guys after this crime, and the guys say, no, we didn't intend on hurting anybody. We didn't want to hurt anybody. Well, you're still threatening their lives to get something that you want, utilizing violence to get something you want. Sorry if I get a little charged up. These things have really been bothering me lately. So obviously it's better to be a law-abiding citizen, but there are a lot of disadvantages. Number one, you have a lot to lose. You have your family, your possessions, your money, your car, your insurance, your life. You have a lot of things that you care deeply about because you're a good person and you want to do the right thing. You have a lot to lose. A lot of people are very uneasy that don't understand how concealed carry works, are uneasy about it because they think that someone will just walk outside and end a confrontation with gunfire. Well, a person has a lot to lose. They have a lot on their shoulders. Why would they get permitted and immediately go straight to jail? It's illogical and emotionally driven. You have people who depend on you, and you have family and friends who care deeply for you. Those are a little bit connected too. You have a lot of people. You have a lot of people that you love. You have a lot of people that love you, that care strongly about you. So I don't see what reason you would have to want to attack an innocent person or harm an innocent person who's just like you and is a good person just like you. You work hard to be where you are, or your parents worked hard to raise you. There's a lot that you have a lot to lose. A lot of this relates back to number one. And I'll get to the rest of how that relates later. So fellow citizens demonize you for your choice of tools. And this mostly has to be with the politicians and some of the citizens that believe that people shouldn't be able to own guns or even certain guns. They demonize you and they see you as a violent person. Like I say in the next one, you're seen as a violent person because you simply own a tool. And towards the end here, you have to worry about the law. So this also goes into the last few points. Cops can sometimes work against you. There are more good cops than bad cops, but after a shooting, they always suggest to you to never speak to the police, that you should wait until a lawyer is present to say what you're going to say. If you have to take a life in self-defense, you have to live with that forever. You're not desensitized to violence and human death at such a young age like a lot of the repeat offending criminals are. You have to continually live knowing that you took somebody's life, even if it was justified, even if they threatened you and your family. That's something that you'll have to deal with forever. And then I saw a story recently where a man intervened in a man beating this woman on the sidewalk, and some of the law enforcement said, we don't encourage this type of behavior, but we appreciate what he did. So doing the right thing and intervening could mean a lawsuit that makes you lose everything you have. If you want to step in and prevent somebody bad from doing something bad to somebody good, you could be demonized and lose everything. It's awful, but that is the world, the sue happy lawsuit world that we live in now. Everybody wants to peg everybody for something that they did wrong to make some money. That's the world we live in. So then anybody who carries has probably heard of the sheepdog concept, the sheep versus the wolves. So the sheepdogs don't necessarily have to be a CCW holder. So the way that this works, you have the sheep, you have the obedient ones that follow whatever direction they're given. Sometimes they're referred to as sheeple by licensed firearm holders. But you have the sheep, the average citizen who wants to do good and doesn't want to hurt anybody. But then you have the wolves that constantly prey on the sheep and want to take from them using whatever means necessary. They prey on them. I heard a good comparison in some judicial hearing recently where a politician compared armed citizens to an antelope and a leopard. So that would be like the sheep and the wolves. And what he says is, how do you think that depriving the antelope of its horns, its means of protection, is going to do anything to solve crime and prevent the leopard or cheetah, whatever it is, attacking it from attacking it? Depriving us of a means of protecting ourselves will not prevent violence from going, will not make violence go away. You cannot legislate away violence and insanity. It's been part of human nature since the beginning. The wolves will always exist and they will always prey on the sheep. There's no way to completely stop it, but there are a lot of things we can do to prevent it, and that's why you should fight for your rights. Make your voices be heard. You can go to Ruger's website, and they have a page called Take Action. It'll email all the senators of your state, and it'll email all the national politicians that are focusing on this stuff right now. But it's very important that we hold on to these gun rights, because it really is important. The mag capacity limits and stuff, criminals will never follow those. You want to stack the cards in your favor. Even if someone may scoff at you, oh, you don't need an AR-15 to defend your home, you don't need 30 rounds. Well, that person shouldn't dictate your means of self-defense. You should be able to do what you want to do to most efficiently protect those that you love. So this is Big Apple signing out. Sorry to get political on you guys, but it's very important that you step up and let your legislators know that none of this stuff should go through. Thanks for your time.